Hello, America, and to our friends around the world, greetings. I want to point this out. I began attending local government meetings, what, 2 or 3 years ago? And one of the first meetings I attended was the local city council, who had multiple years of declining arson, of declining unpermitted burning, of declining illegal fireworks issues, decided to give the local fire department arrest powers to cite people for fire offenses. And that rubbed me the wrong way. And you might have a different opinion, and that's yours. But I want to take you down what my line of thinking is here in a moment. But I want you to understand that it was after multiple years of declining issues that the city council, consisting of about half the people that you see in front of you, LaFrenz on the left, Santiago on his left, the mayor in the center, and Miller to the left of the light blue shirted mayor. Those four were on the council at the time. The council president was a woman named Greason, and they all voted in favor of granting the local police or fire department arrest powers. Arson was down at least 2 years in a row. Illegal fireworks citations were down at least 2 years in a row. Unpermitted burning within city limits was down at least 2 years in a row. But they decided to grant arresting powers. And what do I mean by that? Court enforceable citations. And when I push play, I'm going to let you listen to the new city manager. The previous one, the woman left not long after I made some questions about her statements regarding the rebuilding of the local police department, that it's, you know, you want to assume that when she says, well, we want to rebuild the police department to be better, that she means better quality. And I asked the question, well, instead of asking, making the assumption that it's going to be one of better quality, is the is the better question actually, is it one that's going to be more competent or one that's more capable of hiding its corruption? And she resigned less than a month after I made that online question after attending these meetings and so forth. And again, here, I want to highlight that it's been multiple years since they enacted this overzealous approach to write up citations and make them enforceable, when it was documented that there was a decline in these things. I like to encourage people to partake in local government because, number one, most people aren't aware of how local government actually operates. Number two, when it's your neighbor that you're making these these government orders that's negatively going to impact them, they still have to show their face. As an example, that council president that I mentioned that's no longer there, I walk into the grocery store. It's a very, it's not awkward for me. It's awkward for that individual, at least based off of the body language. I don't make an approach. I don't interact. I just walk in, get my groceries, do my thing. But it's happened more than once. and it is what it is. And if they're uncomfortable with me calling them out for these bad practices, that's on them. Probably the only thing that I have to say that is unfortunate is that Council President Miller, the one that's in the black and white shirt there, right in front of the Oregon flag, was on the ballot for Tuesday's election for the 911 board. So I don't know if these, if this behavior would have made a difference, but let me go in here and push play, and you can listen in to what it is that they're talking about. They're talking about regulating burning even more.
The request was to go a little bit more in depth and seeing if the city could do additional restrictions beyond maybe what the fire district has, or to work with fire district, see if there's additional stuff in there. I'm not quite sure on the complete direction. So right now it's just a presentation of what.
The man speaking is the one that's sitting to the left of the police the police chief. He is the city manager. He's been there maybe 8 months. I can't remember. I don't remember his name. I just remember the previous city manager and assistant city manager. But anyway, he's talking about regulating more on burning. And you might think, oh, regulating burning, that's good because we don't want out of control fires. That's the slippery slope that you have to be aware of. Is I've already emphasized it, and I have to emphasize it again. It was a decline in all of these, bad things, these abuses. You have to have a fire permit to burn inside city limits. You have to, you can't do illegal fireworks, because it's illegal. I mean, people do it, but anyway. And the point is these were these were in decline, and they're talking about ramping it up more because it's a woman who's upset by it. Now listen to how they all respond to this woman's tyranny that she wants to impose.
They've seen in other places they have requests for. So feedback on the council on that one.
Want that right now?
Just feedback, yeah. I mean, do we want to put it on there? Or?
I think it's okay to listen to see what other cities kind of are. If there's best practices and education, I like what she talks about is educating a lot of people to help prevent. If there's just some we could put out that if we can't make changes, you can educate. Best practices. I mean,
right.
it'd be interesting to kind of hear what other people do. See if it's any.
Now, the mayor, if I'm not mistaken, was a former high school teacher, and his wife, he's made comments over the last few years that she's an existing school teacher, and that is the bias he has towards education. And education is great. I look at all the numbers of books that I upload reading for all of you who are commuting or are, somehow incapable of reading, either dyslexic or illiterate or, physically infirmed that you can't hold a book. So you already know that education is big there for me, but it's a slippery slope of I know more than you do, therefore I'm right and you're wrong. Condescension. So let's see. Let's listen.
Any different than what we do.
You're kind of poking the beehive there, though. Like the chief alluded to this, is that the God-given right, to burn. So then, distinguish between your.
That is on the very far right, Councilman Hougen. He is the newest elected member, and he says it right there, blatant in your face. That's poking the beehive. This is what a community of less than 10,000 people that's elected thinks of the people with whom they're supposed to be serving. That you're a beehive to be poked. Their God-given right to burn. You're old enough, Councilor Hougen. You were there 10,000 years ago when fire was invented. Things got out of control at different times, but overall society has advanced to the point of interplanetary travel. I don't think we're going to really be following ourselves. There's bigger things that are going to cause the collapse of civilization than an unpermitted fire. I mean, you are closer to 10,000 years old more than I am. But I'm just going to say it. Calling your constituents a beehive to be poked about their God-given right is a very bad take.
Fires coming out of your fire pits and so forth. It's a really dicey situation. And I don't know if you can avoid, poking the bees too much, it's probably pretty good.
Well, the fire department coincidentally has those suits that allow them to poke the beehive more, so that's a good topic.
Miller is talking about the act that the city council took about 2 years ago or so that I was talking about, allowing them the arresting powers to prosecute fire offenders. Oh, you have an unlicensed fire pit. We're going to write you up. I don't know if that is a thing. I'm just more irritated that when you've had multiple years of declining issues, they felt it was appropriate to enact tyranny was it 2 years ago? So that's, and he picks up on the bee poking analogy and decides it's funny and let's mock the people that got us into office and that we're supposed to be serving.
For the fire board to take up over there.
And let's laugh about
Well,
it.
and I think just understanding kind of like what is the root cause behind the behavior of burning? Is it like accumulation of yard debris? Could having a couple.
And here's the condescension. What is the root cause of fire burning? I mean, and I'm going to be completely ignorant of the fact that people have been burning yard debris, farming debris for well over 5,000 years so that they can till it back into their soil for plant growth.
Additional yard debris collection days help cut down, right? Like, are there solutions that we could provide that could deter the behavior rather than, heavy-handed approaches?
Well, education's good. Yeah.
I feel like we get maybe 2 emails from the public a year regarding burning complaints, mostly to do with air pollution.
Mm-hmm.
But I think there are a lot. I mean, people are
Mhm.
not happy when it happens. They
Yeah.
just don't take it to the
Right.
email.
I think that's an excellent point about
Yeah.
maybe something to do with yard waste disposal or something like that we can help facilitate.
Right. And
Yeah.
a lot of those complaints, though, and I wasn't here, obviously, for those, talking to Richard about this prior, and from my experience before, a lot of them come from people who aren't maybe following their permit or don't have their permit. And so it's a compliance issue compared to an actual problem with the rules, which does fund that. And then does irritate a lot of people, obviously, because that affects people and they have to go and respond to that. But
Of course it irritates people. You're charging them with an inconvenience that they are legally now required to answer to because of your overzealous behavior to appease 1 or 2 complainants a year. Again, can fire be bad? Absolutely. Things happen. People die in fires. People get injured because of fires. Property is damaged because of fires. But stop treating your constituents as if they're handicapped enough that they don't even qualify for kindergarten. Just because, half of you are ex-teachers doesn't give you a blank check to lord it over everybody that I'm so snooty and smarter than all of you dumb rednecks of Columbia County. No. You don't have calluses on your hands. You can STF you and let it go. You can tell those that are bewitching about it that unless it is a threat to their property, a threat to their health, to let it go. Obviously, there's going to be some examples of things that are outside the ordinary. August is a horrible month to do it because of the fact that it's called a stable air mass. You get all the particulates that just sit there because there's no air movement. Makes it just very, very bleh, the doldrums, nastiness. You're talking about somebody that's burning off, the pile of lawn clippings before the, end of summer or something or whatever the deal is, and it's being monitored, and there's plenty of wind to move the particulates around and disperse it. Great. I don't want those particulates being embers spreading it, but I'm not a fire science major guy. I just know that I've had burn barrels in the past and they're great. Cuts down on the garbage bill. Now, Holmes, I believe it was the woman in black on the right of your screen, was the one saying, can we offer additional things? So, yes, I was mocking her for being condescending, but she did offer additional, input as far as can the city offer something. Suppose they could, but people were managing to do this on their own, offering a taxpayer, a tax burden expense isn't an answer, especially when just barely a year ago you couldn't even figure out how to pay for your own police department. You were about to consider shutting it down. So adding additional tax burdens, and then when the first 30 minutes of this meeting was focused all on people coming in and begging for money for movies in the park or United Way or the senior center or whatever the other things were. I don't remember because it was just boring. Um, but this is the more frustrating point. It's because they're laughing about it. They're laughing about the rules that they've made that people have to jump through, and the city manager's even saying, "Look, you're inconveniencing these. These are my words, not his. You're inconveniencing a person's life by making them now have to respond to something that they previously didn't have to." And then Hougen is calling that, "Yep, that's poking the bee's nest," and Miller goes right along with it, laughing and saying, "Yep, we're poking that bee's nest." It's very condescending. It's very disrespectful of your constituents, and y'all need to be censured. What's your opinions on it? This is the reason you need to go to your local government meetings, whether it's county commissioners, whether it's 911 board, whether it's city council, whether it's school board. It's to know what it is these people are saying and doing, and when the opportunity is there, to capture them on a live mic laughing at you.